Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide.
Firstly, low body fat. This is obvious and common sense, but some guys still have too high of a body fat percentage. The ideal body fat that you should set the goal of is around 10 to 12%. This is when your abs are completely visible. You may even have some veins around your abs and your V-line, and you'll have a sharp jawline with no baggy skin underneath. One huge point that no one mentions in terms of low body fat is that to look even better at a low body fat percentage, you want to weigh more. You simply want your body weight to be as high as possible whilst also remaining lean. And the way to do that is to bulk up first and then cut to get leaner. This is what I looked like at 120 pounds and I was fairly lean, but you can see that my face didn't exactly look chiseled. Whereas when I put on a fair amount of muscle 2 to 3 years later, this is what I look like at 150 pounds. You can see a big difference in my jawline. The more that you weigh whilst being lean, the better that you'll look. Focus on increasing.
Here's the easiest 4-step skincare routine for men. First thing, you want to use a cleanser to remove all of the dirt from your pores. Then you're going to want to use a chemical exfoliant to help produce skin turnover and remove excess dead skin cells. The third, you're going to want to hit your face with a moisturizer to keep your skin hydrated. And lastly, you want to make sure you're wearing an SPF to prevent aged skin and dark spots.
Niche max. You can end up being mediocre to all women, but attractive to none. And this is because you'd be a guy who brings nothing unique to the table. Now, having nothing unique to bring to the table isn't necessarily bad if you're a man at the top. But if you're not here, which is the bottom 90% of guys, you will be outcompeted by these men who are at the top every single time. What I mean by this is if there are two guys that both have the same style, both have the same haircut, and both have the same basic conversation, but one guy is better in every other way, then women will always choose this guy in favour of the other guy. So, what can this less attractive man do to increase his chances? The answer is nichemaxing. By changing his appearance, niching down to a certain style, he will no longer be in direct competition with these chads. This is because he is competing in his own separate market. Now, of course, this means he is going to have less options. However, this is balanced by having less competition. In simple terms, it's nothing more than a trade-off. Before, he was mediocre to 100% of women, but after, he is highly attractive to 10% and not the type to the other 90%. You tell me in the comments which you think is better. To best showcase this trade-off, the easiest way I find to explain the difference between Looksmaxxing and Nichemaxing is using this graph. On the x-axis, we have the 1 to 10 scale that we've all heard of, showing how attractive women think you are. Then on the y-axis, we have the percentage of women that gives you each rating. So, for example, for this man who is unlooksmaxed and unnichemaxed, he may have scores like this. 90% of women rate him a 5, 5% a 4, and 5% a 6. Now, let's see what his results will be after he has a Looksmaxing journey. He cuts 5 kg of fat, making his face leaner, puts on 5 kg of muscle, whitens his teeth, starts skincare, grooms his facial hair so it's now even, and lastly gets his nose straightened. Quite the improvement compared to when he started. And since Looksmaxing directly improves attractiveness across the board amongst all women, his scores after should now look like this. So 90% rate him a 6, 5% a 5, and 5% a 7. Anyway, so far, what this man has done might sound great, but in reality, I don't think he's really changed his perception in the eyes of most women. He's still considered a 6 or below in 95% of cases, which would categorise him as a backup dating option at best, or a new member of the friend zone at worst. In other words, Looksmaxing hasn't helped him because now he's just slightly above mediocre to most women. He's still below the line of visibility in most cases. But now, this is where nichemaxing comes in. After mixing up his style, changing the facial expression of his photo to a more deep, dark, mysterious look, getting a less common haircut, and a few items of jewellery, he now appeals to a smaller demographic of women. Therefore, his new ratings will likely look like this. What we've essentially done is flattened the curve, with 10% rating him a 4, 20% a 5, 40% a 6, 20% a 7, and 10% an 8. What's interesting is, if you notice, his overall average hasn't changed. He still has the same face, same body fat percentage, same frame, etc. But now he's become more attractive to some girls and less attractive to others. The girls that rate him an 8 most likely have a strong preference for this serious kind of look, while those that rate him a 4 probably prefer a softer type with an e-boy haircut. Anyway, to show the advantage of nichemaxing, he's now visible to 6 times as many women compared with before. And yes, on the opposite end, you'll notice there are a lot more women who now see him as unattractive, with some even viewing him as a sub 5. But who cares, because he's not going to be concerned with these anyway. They pretty much viewed him as invisible before, and they only view him more so this way after. This shows the underlying benefit of nichemaxing is that you increase your chances with the girls that already had a thing for you, at the expense of decreasing your chances with the girls that would have never dated you in the first place. That's the trade-off of nichemaxing, and I hope you can see why it can be a benefit to some guys. Anyway, now you understand both niche and looksmaxing, let's move on to the big final question. Which one should you focus on?
Mixtapes got a little Hank, little Drake, a little something bumping, thumping on the wheel, right? The mix in our drink's a little stronger than you think, so get a grip, take a sip of that feel, right? Trucks jacked.
Bad boy style starter kit. Dark slim fit jeans, black slim fit t-shirt, or a Henley, boots, or a sexy sneak, badass jacket. You could go denim, you could go leather. And don't forget the accessories. Pro tip, wearing gold, whether or not it's yellow gold or rose gold, nothing makes you look cooler like a great pair of shades. Put it together, bad boy uniform. Your bad boy uniform might be a polo shirt. I don't care. Whatever makes you feel like a little bit of a badass gentleman, you need to wear it.
Roll with me, yeah, you know we rollin' high up on them 37 needles, windows tinted, hard to see though how fresh my baby is in the shotgun.
See, don't be on the road too tough, but I still cut you with the local tugs. Coulda ran off the plug, but I kept it real and I showed him love. Lil' bro got the poker touch, where we grow up is so corrupt. Fancy me on the block, go nuts, I'm not in my bag, I'm loading. Back then it was hand to hand, nowadays I don't have no involvement. In the trap I stay on my own, I'm home alone, Macaulay coking. YJ no